We're not done. All right, we're not done. We're far from done. I don't know why you thought we were done. We're not done. Honorable mentions of the year 2018. I've heard a lot of projects this year, a ton. And these are some of the ones that, while I thought were great or good or above average, didn't necessarily make my year-end list for my top albums this year, but still some notable projects, some nice releases, some songs and music that I thought this still needs to be recognized, you know, because it was still good. It was still good. Not album of the year, but it was still good. First one I got here is Nas with Nasir. This was an album that I heavily enjoyed on my first listen. Upon a couple more listens, I kind of died down on my hype for it a little bit. Saw some of the lyrical inconsistencies. Nas not rapping as amazing as he normally does, but the production on this album was still very great. Nas still a very good MC. I still enjoyed a good amount of the instrumentals on this project. Thank you to Kanye. And it was still enjoyable for me nonetheless. I've still listened to it a lot this year, and I definitely think it still makes a strong statement. Nas is still able to get across a decent message in about 24-25 minutes, so it makes it still enjoyable for me. I don't have to go through a long, drawn-out Nas explanation, but I still get to hear me some Nas over some nice production, so I'm happy with it. Lil Wayne with the Carter 5. This was definitely in my top 20 albums of 2018 at first, but I had to make room for some other picks. And Lil Wayne, unfortunately, while it was good to me, can't say for the criteria that I have set for myself on this channel that it would feel right putting him in that list when there are other albums that came out this year that deserve it. So I had to push him out, but I still very much so enjoyed this project. Loved New Wayne, loved that he hadn't slowed down. Even though there were some songs on that project that were older, that sounded a little dated, I still very much so enjoyed them, and Lil Wayne proves why he's been such a big influence on hip-hop since his debut. I love Lil Wayne, and this project gave me nothing but good Lil Wayne. Nice moments of one of my favorite MCs to listen to. Kanye West with Ye. I thought this was a very decent introspective look on Kanye West. I thought he did a pretty decent job in explaining how he feels in regards to being bipolar. I thought he described a lot of this album when it comes to how he feels in a very healthy way artistically. You know, he didn't say anything that was too far out of the way other than on the intro when he says, today what did he say? Today I feel like murdering you. There's so many moments on this project where Kanye goes into deep introspection where it comes to his mental state or him being a father and understanding how men usually are. Sudan Archives, otherwise known as Brittany Parks, with the Sync EP. Man, did I enjoy this project. It's so natural, so organic. This album feels so homegrown, so enriched in soil, so started from the bottom, started from my roots kind of music. It's so untainted. It feels so untouched and pure. Brittany has these really soft vocals that carry majority of the project. It's not too much, not too little. It's just right. Tabby with Peachfuzz. Yeah, I enjoyed this album a lot. He's got some nice song and single solo attempts on this project. And I like the idea here of painting the duality of a man where you don't have to necessarily be such a hard ass, so macho, and you can still embrace your sensitivity without feeling away or feeling like you're going to be judged or viewed in a certain light by society. I also like how in this project he makes it a point to say that he's the only one watching himself, as if he's the only person that he needs to please. You don't need to please society. You don't need to please the world. You are a man, but you still have emotion. You should acknowledge them. Next on this list is Reason with There You Have It. The delivery, the confidence, the inflection and the hunger in this guy's voice is all I need to enjoy this album. He's got some decent concepts here. Everything is delivered in a there you have it kind of fashion. Nothing overcomplicated, just reason with a dream, with a plan, with hunger, driving forward. That's it. Nothing more to it. There you have it. Brockhampton with Iridescence. Although this wasn't my favorite Brockhampton project, I still thought it was a notable release. I still thought they did a pretty good job. A lot of songs on here very entertaining as far as their musical design, as far as their song structure. I thought a lot of it came across pretty melodic, some of it very soft in certain other instances, like on the track Tanya. The tracks on here that I really enjoy are the ones that have these fluttering, really subtle vocals that are sung constantly during the hook or during the pre-chorus. In a lot of ways, you can't really describe a Brockhampton album and still say it's structured, but this one came across really cohesive and really well designed, I guess you could say. Still very bright and sunny and colorful. Mac Miller was Swimming. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. an album about self-reflection, self-appreciation, self-help. I enjoyed this project. I enjoyed seeing Mac Miller come up and finally embrace his issues and try to tackle them and get to this new pinnacle in his life where he's able to have some sort of healthy medium, a nice moment of solace for him to sit at. Unfortunately, he passed away, but that doesn't mean that this album's intentions weren't still very good, and I think Mac definitely delivered his own individuality in a marketplace that's been saturated with I'm the best, I'm the shit, all these overcomplicated, braggadocious albums that have come out this year. I think Mac sits at a very nice place. Another album that goes into the topics of drug use, depression, mental abuse, mental anxiety is KOD J. Cole. I like this project because it opens up the door for so many conversations and discussions that wouldn't normally be had by a rapper as big as Cole, that wouldn't normally be acknowledged or taken seriously without the accompanying of a joke or, you know, demeaning these people for using drugs to get them through their pain. No, J. Cole takes it in a very commendable and very heartwarming approach by not judging the people that he's reaching out to or making them feel like they're not as good or making them feel inferior. He includes everybody in the conversation and tries his best to come up with his best solution. While I don't agree that it's the solution, I can respect the fact that he tried to say something. Amine with 1.5, though I didn't think this album was incredible, I thought for its release, and I think what it did with its release was still pretty notable. I thought it was still pretty entertaining, very short, got their points across, got out. It's an album as far as songs and enjoyability is concerned. It doesn't really overstay its welcome at all. It's pretty straightforward. Freddie Gibbs' new EP, Freddie, is a project that acts as, in my opinion, a sequel to You Only Live Twice, where Freddie was accused of rape and held captive in another prison in another country. And when he comes back, it's almost as if he's wondering what the fuck happened to the street on this project. He seems baffled and kind of confused by everything that people have allowed to go on in his absence, and I definitely enjoy the way he tackled it musically. Ski Mask the Slum God with the Book of Eli, a bunch of turbulent, very non-traditional hip-hop beats that Ski Mask is able to rap over pretty effortlessly. I like the dude's delivery. I like his style. I like how he doesn't take himself seriously as a rapper, but still has a very good technical rapping ability. Royce da 5'9" with the Book of Ryan, project where Royce da 5'9" goes into a discussion about alcoholism and how it's affected him, and about how addictions and these unaddressed issues can easily affect the family, the sons, the bloodline. Using his son as these little breaks and interludes, these questions that he has for himself where he addresses them in later tracks. While this wasn't the best project when it comes to addressing addiction, I still appreciate that a rapper is coming forward with his addiction and fighting against it. Post Malone with BeerBongs and Bentleys. This album was incredibly underrated by people who overlook the overarching theme of it. I think the overarching theme of this project was Post Malone being this paranoid artist who finally gets into a relationship, breaks up with this chick, and then goes over the ideas of heartbreak and failure of love, and goes back to not giving a shit and not caring, and going back to these cars and the money, the thing that he was paranoid with in the beginning. It's almost like he's accepting the fact that he's never going to have love, and it's so sad when you get to the end, but it's such a satisfying listen because the music is so catchy, his voice is so good, the singing is great. Yeah, it's pop rap, but it's pop rap I can get behind. Cardi B with Invasion of Privacy, not a bad listen. I thought she did decent on this project. I didn't think that she held much back. She got into some topics that I'm sure many people were interested in, and also maintained her own identity while still addressing her come up in the scene, because she's attained a lot recently, and to come out with an album as self-deprecating, as self-aware as this one, while still maintaining her own likability and not making herself seem like a dick or pompous or as if she's above it all. I think she did a really good job keeping that balance. Weeknd with My Dear Melancholy definitely keeps up with everything that The Weeknd has produced and come out with thus far. I don't really mean produced, I mean as far as his album rollouts and the things that he's released within the last couple years. He's definitely kept up the pace and kept the same aesthetic. Meek Mill with Championships. While this album definitely falls short when it comes to the amount of tracks, the length of it, and it could have been shortened into one of Meek Mill's best projects to date, I definitely think this album refers to its idea in the title very well by saying that this is a championship for Meek. He definitely took a W. This is definitely a strong point in his career, not only personally, but musically. I feel like he's on another level. He's addressing some topics and some things that he normally wouldn't address. So I like that he's tackling them in this project. Meek Mill definitely won a championship when it comes to winning his freedom, winning over the hearts of his fan base, and people that weren't acknowledging the problem with the judicial system. Death Grips with Year of the Snitch. I enjoyed this project mainly because of how much it made me appreciate other genres of music. Not to say that this album is bad or anything, it just made me appreciate how albums could be blended and elements from other genres be taken and implemented almost seamlessly or effortlessly. I don't even have words to describe what this album did for me. It definitely discourages catchiness and wants to unsettle you and knock you off your feet, and it did that for me. 21 Savage with I Am Greater Than I Was. Definitely a great project from 21. I enjoyed this thing a lot, and while the content and subject matter doesn't necessarily reflect the title itself, I can definitely say that 21 did a lot better. He's a lot more consistent, rapping better, rapping stronger, way better features. I just think as a solo, this is 21's best project by far. Cozz with Affected. I think this guy manages to address himself, and even though it does sound like he is J. Cole's homie, and you can definitely tell it by the way that he raps, I still think he maintains his own voice. I definitely enjoyed this project, especially tracks like where he's telling his friend to shut the fuck up while he's trying to get high in the car. That's, oh my god, if that's not my life when people are around you, they're just talking too much. Jungle Pussy with JungleP 3, Getting Dick, the album. That's what this was. The Black Panther soundtrack definitely loaded with a compilation of a bunch of different songs that I managed to take with me to the end of the year. Tracks like King's Dead, All the Stars, X, the SOBXRBE track. Just music that not only fits the climate of today, but also addresses some scenes and concepts in the movie. Caitlyn Smith with Starfire. This woman has one of the most dynamic voices in country music I've ever heard. Like, her ability to hold and carry a note astonishes me sometimes. It's almost scary. Incredibly powerful, stern, very raw voice. I love it, man. Like, this, if you didn't like country music, her voice will just captivate you more than any instrumental. I'm telling you. Sheck West with Mudboy. While the album wasn't crazy in concept, I definitely appreciated how dirty and grimy it was. The experience was very mind-bending, and it was pretty entertaining when you got to tracks like Nigga Fuck Everybody. I think that's the track. Not only does the album capture the trauma of being in a negative environment during your upbringing, during your adolescent years, it also manages to capture this mental instability and pain that goes along with it, this self-doubt, these breaking points that are almost referenced by the production on this project. Mick Jenkins with Pieces of a Man. I know a lot of people think I didn't review this project, although I still gave some thoughts about it in one of my songs playlists that many of you can check out, which I keep saying these are available. If you want to hear some quick thoughts about a project that I wasn't able to get to, it's usually in a songs playlist. Don't get me wrong though, because the rapping is still very entertaining. A lot of energy from Mick on this project, and a lot more catchy, enjoyable music than was on previous projects. Doesn't drag on for too long like some people felt about the healing component, so I would definitely recommend this one. Nayo with her album Saturn is the R&B equivalent of an out-of-body, out-of-planet experience for me. This took my soul out my body. I just think the way the production mirrors the atmosphere of the way she's describing her love life to a certain degree makes the whole thing so cohesive. It makes it shape up beautifully. It's no chore to get captivated by this album. It's extremely grand. It's extremely lush. Her voice is so polished and so pristine. And the final album on this honorable mentions list is the Kacey Musgraves Golden Hour album. I really enjoyed that project. So sunny and poppy and country, and while it's not deeply rooted in country, it's the most accessible country a non-fan of that genre could probably listen to. So if you wanted to try it, it's very rhythmic, it's very catchy. The songwriting is nothing crazy, but there are a lot of great moments on the project that I feel Kacey is able to carry with her voice effortlessly. Really bright, sunny, and colorful, and I like it. That's gonna be my honorable mentions of the year 2018. We're closing in on the top 40 songs and the top 20 albums of 2018. We're gonna end this shit soon. Let me know what your honorable mentions of the year 2018 are in the comment section down below. I'm curious to know what you guys have been listening to and what struck your interest this year. And I'm out. I'll see y'all tomorrow or the next day. Or you've probably seen this on the 26th, so I'll see you on the 27th. Peace.